Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central. It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, the place for weekly entertaining car talk. Coming up, Konrad has the popular This Week in Auto History. We'll get you updated on the stories making car news this week, as well as a special guest from Consumer Reports. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Konrad DeLong. We need more, Jeff Zekin.
We do.
I'm Don Armstrong. Glad to continue. You know, it's pretty good that we got.
And you're the professional.
I know.
Who said anything about professional?
He erased everything he said about it today.
Yeah, take it all back.
Yeah. Sounds like he tried to.
It's been a challenge, to say the least, today. Why is that?
Because you're drinking super glue and your tongue's sticking to the roof of your mouth.
Is that what it is? Where is that super glue? I need another shot right now.
Young kids are calling.
All right. So joining us right now, Mike Monticello with Consumer Reports. Mike, it's good to see you. How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Well,
can you hear me okay?
We are doing just fine.
Yep,
personally.
we can hear you fine.
Yeah, and we can hear you just fine. So, Consumer Reports 2022 top picks. How did you come up with top picks?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a big deal for us every year. This is the, one issue a year for the magazine anyway. Yes, we still produce a magazine that is all cars, no appliances or dishwashers or anything like that. So, to be a top pick, you've got to have a very high overall score, which encompasses our road test score. It encompasses predicted reliability, owner satisfaction, and those two things come from all of the surveys that we do with all of our CR members. And to be a top pick, you also have to have all trims of the model have to come standard with forward collision warning and automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection. And also this year, instead of just having what we might call city speed or low speed automatic emergency braking, they have to have highway speed AEB. And so that's kind of how we come up with the top pick. And the other thing is that we're also kind of new this year is that we're adding 2 points to a vehicle's overall score if it comes with what we consider an adequate driver monitoring system. If a vehicle has an active driving assistance system, and as you know, probably that is when something like Tesla Autopilot, GM's Super Cruise, Ford's Blue Cruise, a system that can handle the steering and the adaptive cruise control as you're driving down the road. And for us, if it has to have more of a direct driver monitoring system, like an infrared camera that is monitoring your eyes, with an eye tracker to make sure you're paying attention to the road, not just every once in a while requiring you to either, put some torque on the wheel or just have a hand on the wheel, because in our opinion, that's not a good indication. Just because you have a hand on the wheel doesn't mean you're looking at where you're going. So
it doesn't mean you're not asleep.
Exactly. Yeah. And there is the safety aspect to that as well, because that is one of the things that our folks are pushing for, is that if someone were to fall asleep or if someone were to have, a medical problem, you want this system to be able to handle bringing the car to a stop, realizing there's a problem. And I mean, eventually we'd like to see them have the capability to not just stop in the road and put the emergency flashers on, which is what they would do now, but actually pull over to the side of the road, have the ability to realize there's a problem, pull over to the side of the road and get off the road. So that's where the top picks, to be a top pick, you have to have all of those things. So it's a pretty tall order for a vehicle to get into a Consumer Reports top pick.
So there are different styles of vehicles. You got things like, small car, small SUV, hybrid, that sort of thing. But you've also got them chosen under a price category as well.
Right.
So how did you come up with those parameters?
Those parameters, I'll be honest with you, I didn't pick those parameters, but it's something that we do every year. You have to have some way to there's your dog going across the thing. You have to we have to figure out some way to choose these top picks. So you have to draw a line somewhere, right?
Sure.
So we went under 25,000. That's how we chose the Nissan Sentra, for a small car. And also under 25,000 happened to be another Nissan, the Rogue Sport for a subcompact SUV. And then we picked, 25,000 to 35,000. And for that, we went with the Subaru Forester. And we also, for the small SUV. And then we also picked the Toyota Prius and the Prius Prime. And of note with the Prius, it's record 19th top pick. No other vehicle has been a Consumer Reports top pick 19 times. Toyota Prius still going strong there, and then in that same $25,000 to $35,000 category for mid-sized sedans, we picked the Honda Accord. And unfortunately, we can't do a pick necessarily in every single category, so we have to kind of we don't always have a sporty car. Sometimes we do. It kind of depends on where things fall.
So do you have kind of like a staff meeting in the conference room, and you say this is the way that we're going to do this, and do fights break out in that meeting? That we're going to have it this way. No, we're not going to have it that way. I mean, what's the process? I want to be the fly on the wall on that meeting.
Oh yeah, no, it's no holds barred. I mean, there's been bloodshed for sure. I cried a couple times because I feel like I come up with these great ideas and then they shoot me down and I start crying. It's a whole thing. But no, we try to keep it semi-civil, but we try to. One of the things about Consumer Reports is we try to pick vehicles that are reasonably affordable, that makes sense for most people, and that's why we don't have a
Bentley.
Yeah, we don't have a Bentley. We don't have a under $100,000 sports car category. That would probably be the Corvette if we were, but we don't typically do that. Like I said, we have had like a Mazda Miata and stuff for a sporty car in the past, but if we try to. And that's, again, you're exactly right, though. We do get in a conference room. Well, these days we do it via Zoom meetings.
Yep.
But so we do hash it out, and we figure out what makes the most sense for most people.
And how many people are in that meeting? Just give me a rough estimate.
It's usually about 10 or so.
Yeah.
We've got people on the tech side. We've got people more on the editorial side like me. We've got a couple bosses in there. And, of course, Jake Fisher, who is our senior director of auto testing. He's heavily involved in that. And Gabe Shenhar, who's in charge of buying all of our test cars. So we have a whole group of people, and we hash it out and keep it. Our rule is we try to keep it semi-civil. That's all. That's the baseline. Semi-civil.
I don't know how you got your job. Somebody lied to somebody, and you got your job. And I am jealous, and I want to go to work there. I mean, what a great job!
He's got pictures.
Yeah, it's a super fun job, and one of the best things about it is, I've been in this industry for 21 years now. One of the best things about Consumer Reports is that we have our own auto test center in Central Connecticut. And so anytime we want, we can just take a car and go around a road course, do a full acceleration run if you want on the old Connecticut drag strip. And it's super fun, great people to work with. And I think we also feel like we're trying to make a difference, help people choose the best cars for them using all of these parameters that we talked about. The road test score, which is not just instrumental performance testing, but how it drives out on the road, how quiet it is, how nicely it rides. And then along with these, is the car reliable? What's the owner satisfaction, right? That's a good way to know. Word of mouth is the old way you might do it. Oh, well, I heard this car is really good. Well, so we find out from our subscribers, would you buy this car again? And if you didn't, well, then that goes, in all of our data, and we're able to tell people, where its owner satisfaction score is. If it's a pretty high owner satisfaction score, there's a good chance you're going to like that vehicle too.
So you mentioned that you have somebody that's in charge of buying your cars.
Yes.
To me, I think that's a great advantage because, like you said, it'll be there, I guess, as long as you want it. And so you can get it and go drive it. because Don and I, we get press fleet cars, and we know that Lexus that's sitting out there in the driveway or whatever we happen to be driving, it's not my vehicle. It's only here 7 days. And I have a responsibility to take care of that vehicle because it's not mine.
We're not taking it to the drag strip. We're not racing it around corners and burning the tires off of it because we wouldn't get another one.
Or not doing snow donuts up there in Connecticut during the winter.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That's right. But I would imagine that you guys probably do all of that sort of thing.
So, yeah. So, I mean, the first thing is that, I've been where you guys are when I worked for other publications where, we'd get the press vehicles for a week to 2 weeks. So we do get those as well for what we would call a first drive. We actually pay for them. Consumer Reports is nonprofit. We try to be as non-biased as possible. So we actually pay the automakers a certain amount per press fleet car that we get.
So you kind of rent it then.
Yeah, we actually rent them. We consider it renting. But for all of the cars that we test, any test numbers that we have are from a car that we anonymously buy at local dealers throughout Connecticut and the Northeast. And then we put 2,000 break-in miles on the cars where we're just supposed to be cycling them through all of our editors and tech people, not driving them super hard, get the 2,000 break-in miles in, get a lot of our kind of initial notes on the vehicle, and then we start the instrumented testing, the acceleration, the braking. This is the stuff that's a little harder on the car. Our, kind of classic avoidance maneuver test where it's, a left, right, left to mimic, swerving around something really quickly. We take them. After that, we do our track handling, which is when we take laps. 5 of us or so take hot laps in each vehicle around our road course. So by the end of that, the tires are a little worn off, but they're not. We still try not to beat the heck out of the cars because then we keep them anywhere from 6 to 9 months to a year or more before we then sell them, typically at auction. And so we do have to actually treat these vehicles like they are our own as well, because we do have to sell them and get money out of them and not, sell someone something that we beat the heck out of it. So we try to treat it like beyond that, the hard testing to do at the limit or over the limit testing. You do have to push the car pretty hard, but it's not like that's being done every day. That's done over a couple day period. Most of the time, these cars are driven on the road to and from work every day, errands, going on trips. We use them like most people hopefully would use their cars, other than that, very specific track handling period.
The good news is that your used car resale price has been up quite a bit here recently, last year and a half or so.
To offset the deal they get from the manufacturer.
It's ridiculous. And that's actually made it really hard for us to buy cars. It's hard to get new cars right now. So it's been a real struggle for us to find cars the way we want them, to get them reasonably close to when we need them for testing, and also to still get them close to the MSRP. We used to almost never pay MSRP. We'd always pay a little below, hopefully. We don't tell them who we are until the paperwork is being drawn up. So we get the initial deal without them knowing who we are, that we're Consumer Reports. But now we've actually, it's been tougher, and to get that, it's just tough to get a good deal right now.
Do you walk
and that's the consumer experience, though.
Do you walk into the dealership in disguise?
Get some glasses and a mustache
and a nose.
Well, so we've been doing the haggling as just yourself, not telling them who we are. Through email or text or phone calls for years. We've been doing that. And of course, a lot of people have switched to that themselves now, right? That's, with the whole COVID pandemic. So we've been doing that for a while. So we don't tell them who we are till usually the morning of. We've already made the deal. We know we're getting the vehicle. We've agreed on a price. Now we tell them who we are. And then unfortunately, I feel terrible about this. They have to redo Actually, usually they haven't done the paperwork. They say they've done it, but they haven't done it. And now, because we're a nonprofit, we don't pay sales tax. So that's the one thing where the price gets changed. But when we walk in to go pick up the car, at that time they know who we are. They know we're Consumer Reports, and there's usually no hard feelings. We feel bad that we have to do this anonymously, but the reason why is because it's not that I want to say we distrust the automakers, but it's in the automaker's best interest for their car to do as well as possible. So if they were to know, say, a week out that we were buying this specific test car, it's possible they might send a tech there, a factory tech, to go and just make sure everything is spot on perfect with the car. And we don't want that. We want to have the same experience that anyone else would have if they bought a car, meaning that there's no special treatment to that car.
Right. It goes to your credibility about what you're trying to tell people is that, we didn't get any special treatment.
Yeah,
and that's part
this
of
is the consumer experience.
I want to know what's behind you with all those bicycles. Are those mountain bikes, electric bikes? What's going on with the testing?
Yeah, no, those are my own. I've been riding bikes for a long time, so that's a combination of road bikes and mountain bikes and a cyclocross bike.
Okay,
nice. Well, I'll tell you what, we absolutely, when I saw this come across, I guess James McQueen, I must be on his communications list because I get these things, and I told Mars, I said, got to call them, got to get them on the air. They got a new deal out, and it's always a pleasure to talk to you. We always learn something new, and I love these things that you guys do, and I'm jealous, but I'm also impressed by what you guys go through to do these tests, and I guess I need to subscribe and start getting the.
We need to go up there about June or July.
Have you?
Don't want to go now.
I imagine through the years you've wrecked a few cars. Not you personally, but CR has kind of wrecked a few cars. Any great stories about a car that you guys wrecked?
So since I've been there, the only cars that have gotten kind of wrecked have been in accidents out on the road. Usually not our fault. Someone rear ends.
That's what they are.
That's what I always say.
I will say, since I've been there, I think 6 years now. I'm not aware of anyone wrecking a car on our test track.
Okay.
But I'm sure it's happened. I don't know. Tell you what, I will look into that, and I will have the next time. Okay.
Well, you're more than welcome to drive down to Texas and do a long-term test.
There you go.
We'd love to have you on the show live and in person. We don't do masks here, so.
Well, why don't we try and have you guys come up sometime?
That's what I'm talking about.
Sounds good to me.
We would love, we would love to do that. Well, and again, I want to get into one of those meetings where everybody's, punching one another.
Oh,
we're going to do this and all that.
Rare.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Well, it's great to talk to you, and we thank you so much for putting up with our jokes and everything else. But it's great information. We love to talk to you. So always, when you got something new and fun and we'd like to know about it, give us a call. Let's get you on the air.
Well, the pleasure's all mine. I really appreciate it. You guys are super fun to talk to, so anytime.
Mike, great to talk to you. Get the snowplow out and have a good time up there because spring is right around the corner,
Be
my
safe.
friend.
You bet.
Will do. All right. See you guys.
All right,
Thank you.
Yeah,
much fun.
I just love to talk to those guys.
And they have been the resource for consumers to get information about vehicles for decades.
All
now.
kinds of things.
Yeah, it's fun. They got a great sense of humor, and he's great.
And he prefaced it by saying we don't do the washers, dryers, and stuff, but there are departments there that do that.
This
one
magazine was all car.
Right, but he was talking about consumer
was all
reports.
car. Yeah.
You can get them for those. That's just there's other departments.
Yes. So if you want a washing machine,
Yeah, I could see Don in the dryer department.
why would you say? Yeah, that's right. With my bounce sheets in there. All right.
Okay.
This week in auto history.
Well, we don't have pictures this week.
That's
but
okay. We don't need pictures.
So
it's
in
the theater of the
I'm
mind.
going to draw one. What do you got?
In 1929, everybody remembers the mob hit of Al Capone and the St. Valentine's Day
Yeah.
Massacre. Why is this such a macabre show?
I don't know.
So, took place in Chicago
How do you
this week.
spell macabre?
I don't know.
But it ends in an R-E, I think.
In order to perpetrate the hit, Al Capone's gang fitted a 1929 Cadillac touring sedan to look like a Chicago Police Department car. I thought that was an interesting fact.
Yeah, really.
In 1958, Ford released the 4-seat Thunderbird. If you remember that car, my grandfather had one of those in black.
Space
I
age.
vividly remember that car. In 1968, AMC releases the AMX. And if you remember, the AMX was a 15-inch shortened wheelbase 2-seat car that looked like a Javelin. That was, it was a Javelin, but it was the wheelbase was shortened by 15 inches. Was available with a 340 horse 390 in the Go Pack. Two specially prepared AMXs set a 106 world speed and endurance record at Goodyear's test track in Texas, driven by Craig Breedlove.
No back seat.
No back. Yeah, well, they don't have a back seat in them. Also, AMC put those into the Hertz Rent-A-Racer program, so you could get the Corvettes, the Jaguars, the Shelby Mustangs, and AMXs at a Hertz rent-a-car place. In 1992, NBC's Dateline aired the segment about the exploding Chevrolet pickup trucks, and a pretty bad piece, only to find out that NBC was using rockets to ignite the fuel.
Yeah, I remember that.
They never really, in my opinion, they were never really held accountable. General Motors did file a defamation lawsuit against them, and the suit claimed the NBC producers staged the test using model rockets to explode them. But, you know, the lawsuit didn't get as much media as the exploding trucks did.
So that's the first start of fake news.
Didn't have a good graphic.
Yeah.
Fake news.
Well, yeah. In 2011, Trevor Bayne won the Daytona 500. He was 20 years and 1 day old when he won the Daytona 500. So, and Trevor Bayne's going to be in the Daytona 500 tomorrow.
Let's go, Trevor.
And Trevor was racing for the Woods brothers at the time, who hadn't had a whole lot of success in NASCAR recently.
Is Brandon going to be racing?
Yes, there is.
So we can say, let's go, Brandon?
Yeah,
Let's go.
absolutely.
Well, actually, he'll be racing tonight because he runs the
The Wood
Xfinity
brothers
Series.
actually are up near the. I think they're in the top 10, top 5.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Wood
for this
Woods
qualifying session. Yeah.
And the Woods brothers have been NASCAR racing since the 60s. And then in 2014, a sinkhole ripped open inside the National Corvette Museum, swallowing the prized cars. 8 Corvettes that were on display at the National Corvette Museum plummeted into the void in the Sky Dome building. Have you ever been? You've been to?
Nope, not yet.
Very, very interesting building. There's a video.
There's only
out there.
one of those cars that they couldn't save. All the rest of them they saved.
Well, they didn't restore some of them.
They were all crumpled up.
Some
and
of them
stuff,
they
put on
left
display.
the way they were.
There was actually a show on just this past week about that.
Oh, well, I'm not surprised just for
Discovery
the
or
timing of it.
something
Yeah.
like that.
The vehicles that toppled into the sinkhole were a 1962 black Corvette, the 1984 PPG Pace car, a 92 white 1/1,000th Corvette, which was white with red leather
Blood
interior.
red, yeah.
The 1993 ruby red 40th anniversary Corvette, the 2001 Mallet Hammer Z06 Corvette, the 2009 1.5 millionth Corvette. Again, that was white with red leather. And 2 cars on loan from General Motors, this 93 ZR1 Spider and the 2009 ZR1 Blue Devil car. Now, most of those were restored, but a couple of them, they're still on display at the museum in the
crumpledness, yeah.
in the damage that was
The
caused.
first thing
by
they
them.
saved was the giant spire that went up through the building. That's the first thing they took care of because they didn't want it to collapse and take the rest of the building.
down. So that's this week in automotive history.
That's great history lesson there. Thank you, sir. Got a couple of headlines I want to get in before the end of the show. The New York Chevrolet Cadillac dealership settled with a former employee who filed a lawsuit claiming that her sexual harassment complaints were improperly handled by the store. The U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York on January 28th dismissed the complaint by Christine Dominguez against Barton Chevrolet Cadillac of Newburgh, New York, because a settlement was reached 1 day before a trial was set to begin. I read these stories because I know that
They knew they were going to lose.
I know that we have dealers that watch us and listen to us, and it's kind of like heads up. According to the complaint, Dominguez, who had worked at the store since 2016 as a parts cashier, said she was groped by a coworker who also made lewd comments about her and directed racial slurs her way. When Dominguez confronted the dealership service manager about the harassment, the complaint said that he laughed in her face. The complaint also alleged that when Dominguez reported the harassment to Barton, he responded that she had no proof of ongoing harassment and suggested that she should file a police charge so that someone could figure out who should be brought up on perjury charges. According to the complaint, Barton then allegedly altered Dominguez's hours and work responsibilities to separate the employees, which Dominguez claimed harmed her ability to receive overtime pay. U.S. District Judge Philip Halpern last year rejected Barton's request to dismiss the complaint. Quote, "It is for a jury to decide whether Dominguez would not have been transferred to the service building but for her complaint to supervisors in Barton that she had been sexually harassed."
He told her to file a lawsuit.
Halpern said in the court document filed February 17th, and they reached a settlement out of court.
By changing her schedule, it was an admission of guilt.
Well, yeah.
They changed, dude.
To separate them.
Don't do the wrong thing, you dummy, idiot.
But you've had more than one. That's like the second or third one. Story like that.
It's
you've
the
done.
car business.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Idiots. The shutdown of the Ambassador Bridge last week, forced by protests in Canada, has cost the automotive industry millions of dollars and left many wondering who pays for the latest supply chain crisis. Direct industry losses amount to $300 million, including a $155 million hit to automakers and $145 million in lost direct wages due to plant shutdowns, according to an estimate released Monday. The bridge between Detroit and Windsor, vital link for the two countries' economies, reopened Sunday after a 6-day shutdown, but the impact could linger for months, according to experts, and they're all worried about future issues. All right, time now for a quick break. We'll be right back to wrap up today's show. Sorry.
Saturday, March 19th, 2022 is the premiere of the all-new Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, and you're invited. Tailpipes and Tacos kicks off a new seasonal format, and first up is the Spring Cruise In at the Lupe Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m., Saturday, March 19th. Tailpipes and Tacos will award trophies for the best hot rod, best classic, and best modern classic, so make plans now. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise in, and this is where you'll enjoy seeing the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, along with Lupe Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and all cars will automatically compete for custom Lupe trophies and other prizes. It all happens at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Get your ride ready for the all-new Spring Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, March 19th. It's going to be a huge car show, and spectators are welcome. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Let's celebrate the arrival of spring and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday morning, March 19th, 8 to 11 a.m. at the Lupe Tortilla in Katy. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? You found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@nwheeltime.com. If you're in charge of your company's small, medium, or large business anywhere in the U.S., let the On Hold Company help you retain customers and promote your business on your telephone system. Promote special sales or company info when placed on hold. The On Hold Company provides custom on-hold messages with professional male or female voices, licensed background music with no long-term contract, no monthly recurring bill, and updates your messages as needed. Call the On Hold Company at 713-223-HOLD or go to onhold.net.
Well, that's a wrap for this week's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. When you're on our Facebook page, please give us a like, tell your friends about us, and share our junk if you would, please. You'll get Konrad's Unicorn Hunting features along with all things automotive all week long. There'll be some fun stuff in there, too, along with upcoming events and other goodies. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show streams live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and on InWheelTime.com every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central Time. 30-minute podcasts are available from your favorite podcast outlet 7 days a week. The In Wheel Time Chief Engineer is David Ainsley. Our Marketing, Advertising Manager, and Video Technical Director is We Need More, Jeff Zekin.
Yep.
For Booking Agent and Podcast Editor, Mike Out of This World Mars, sometimes known as Beetlejuice, and his royalty king Konrad DeLong, I'm Don Armstrong. Today's show is directed to every car lover around the world. Be sure to join us again for our next live In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, Saturday, February 26th, 8 to 11 a.m. Central, right here on the Smoke and Mirrors Network. Watch some racing this weekend. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.